Hi magical friends, good morning, good afternoon or good evening wherever you are. Today I'm going to be doing a small makeup video just to demonstrate the kind of makeup that I wear on a daily basis and my skincare routine, and that's pretty much it really. So I'm going to be showing you how to go from this to this. So to begin my skincare routine, the first thing I do is I just give myself a little makeup wipe and go all over. I use the Asda ones. Oh, see if you can see them there. Just because they're vegetarian and I'm vegetarian, and they don't have any cruelty to animals on them, and they're not tested on animals either. Next I use just a gentle cleansing lotion. Again, it's the Asda one, kind and gentle. I really feel like this just gets rid of any impurities that are in the skin in general. I pop it on some cotton pads and then I just sort of rub it into the skin again, making sure that there's nothing left on the surface of the skin. Next is just a small bit of light moisturiser, just there. Same brand again, a little bit of moisturiser. I always make sure that my hands are clean so that I don't get any impurities on my hands that go onto my face. Just take a small amount and just give it a nice rub in to make sure that I'm lovely and hydrated. I do find as well my makeup goes on better when I'm slightly more hydrated as opposed to if I haven't put any moisturiser on. My skin is generally quite greasy and quite oily, so I don't go too overboard with the moisturiser. Next is my last stop. This is some Radiance Day Cream. So I use the day cream. It's sort of like an anti-aging. It's got, I think it's hyaluronic acid in it, I think. Is it? Yeah, hyaluronic acid in there. I mostly massage this sort of into the neck, under the eyes, where my problem spots are, where I feel like I'm sort of aging. So yeah, I just use that. And I do sweeping motions upwards so I don't pull the skin down, making me more wrinkly and more haggard looking. Nobody likes a haggard looking witch. And then again into the neck, and sometimes I go in onto the chest as well. Depends how wrinkly I'm feeling that day. So that's my skincare routine. Now onto the makeup. So the first thing I'm going to do is just pop a little bit of primer on, which is by Revolution Pro. I'll show you the bottle, however it's all the writings come off because I've been using it so much. I do quite like Revolution as a makeup brand. They're fairly cheap and you can get them in places like Superdrug or Boots. You can buy them online. I just think they're a cheap and cheerful brand that actually is of a decent quality. Not all of my stuff is Revolution. I don't like their foundation. I don't think it's high coverage enough for me. So the foundation that I use after my primer is Dermacol. This is a professional makeup brand, usually used for TV and theatre. My colour is 208. I'm very pale. So what I'd like to do is pop it onto a beauty blender. I actually prefer to use a dry beauty blender for this foundation. It's a very, very waxy consistency. Don't know if you can see that, but it's super, super waxy. It's not going to zoom in, that's fine. And then I just pop it all around the face and then just pat it in as I go. Now that I have put my foundation on, it's very, very shiny. I also like to pop a setting powder just over the top. I think this is just a cheap one by Collection. I'm not too fussed about the expense of them because, to be honest, most setting powders really are just talcum powder and a little bit of pigment. This one's actually translucent, so it doesn't change the colour of the foundation. Also, just a note, the foundation I do use, it does not oxidise, which is excellent. So it doesn't go darker once it's on the skin, which I find fantastic because I know that some cheaper foundations certainly do, and it's very frustrating to get a colour that you really like and then you put it on, 5 minutes later it's too dark. Next, I'm going to go in with a little bit of contour. I'm using Kiko Skin Tone Powder. I don't know what colour this one is. Oh, there's a fly. Okay then. I'm not sure which one this is, but it's a small compact, and it kind of looks like this. It's not particularly dark, it's just darker than the colour that I normally use. I just like to go underneath, and that way it just gives a tiny bit of contouring, just so that I don't look like I've got 6 chins. Nobody needs 6, it's just too many. So I'm going to use this to get rid of those chins. I also like to just go around the hairline a little bit, because I have got a bit of a Mickey Mouse hairline, got a widow's peak. Just to fill in some shadowing there, so that when my hair does go over my face it doesn't quite look as noticeable. I also just like to go in the temples there as well, just to round off the face a bit more. On the webcam you can see it's really picking it up, but in real life it's really not that strong. But it's a good marker so you can see the kind of stuff that I do. I also just want to go in on the cheekbones, just gently. And then I will put some blush over the top of that as well. Now, you may have noticed that I am missing 2 things on my face. Yes, my eyebrows. I don't have any. So, as a performer, I often play so many different characters. They all have different shaped eyebrows. They're different placements on the head, and they're different colours, thicknesses, thinness. They're all so different. So that's why I don't have any eyebrows. I just shave them off, and then I can draw them on as I need them. So I just take a little small brush like this, just a little one, and then I use a lovely eyebrow palette, again by Revolution. It's very beat up. It's still alive somehow, not sure how, but it's still alive. I only got it at Christmas time, but I certainly use it every single day. So I use the darkest shade just for my everyday makeup so that it works out with the dark hair. And I just put a very small amount on the brush. First of all, I colour in the only hair that I do have, and then I sort of mark out the shape. They're never perfect, and they're always slightly different, but hey, can't be perfect. So I'm just going to sculpt out these. I've gone for quite a thick brow today, I'm feeling it, and yeah, so I'd like to point out at this point, well, before the eyebrows, that's my base face that I use for all performance characters all the time. The only thing that changes slightly is the contour on the size of the face. Underneath I may extend it a bit more, and then obviously my eyebrows will change depending on what I'm doing. But because I'm just doing a daily look today, this is what I would usually just walk out the house in. Nothing crazy. Next is a little bit of highlight. Again, I'm using a Revolution Pro highlight. This one's got a very slight gold undertone, but I just like to go in across the face. It's a really nice colour. I don't know if you can see it. It's very shiny. Maybe on this side you'll be able to see it. Yeah, lovely. A really, really lovely colour. Yeah, I do go a bit crazy on the old highlight because I just love glitter. Anything sparkly. Love it. There we go, and that's the highlight. Now the last thing I'd like to do is pop a tiny little bit of blush on the cheeks, a little bit of lip liner, which I will show you the colour. This one's actually by Essence. This one here was about 70p, and I absolutely love it. It's a really nice plum colour, and then I'll also probably match the eyeshadow with a bit of plum as well. Now I thought I'd actually show you the eyeshadow palette that I tend to use the most. It is a Revolution one. It's actually called Beautiful Darkness. This is the back of it. It was a release for Halloween, a promo for Halloween that they did. They also did Ghost White for some of the setting powders. They had some very, very sparkly highlights, which I have here. in a little skull shape is excellent, but the problem is I don't really like using liquid highlighters. I don't tend to use a lot of liquid. I mostly stick to powders. So the first one I'm going to use is actually called Spirit, which is the whitest one there, and then I will then go in with this, which is a more plum tone in person, but obviously it looks a bit brighter on the camera. So I'm just going to pop the lightest shade in the middle, using a very fluffy brush. All the brushes that I'm using are Revolution as well. Don't know if you can tell, but I quite like Revolution. And then once I've popped that white on, I will pop in with a little bit of the red, which is Demon. And it's not particularly, it's more of a plum colour than it is a red, but I do find that if you're wearing very bright reds, you often need to sort of put a pop of colour into your wardrobe at the same time. Now, I'm not really a fan of colours, so I like to wear a lot of blacks, and this colour is fairly nice and neutral because it's not too bright. You can get away with wearing just black. I just sort of blend it in using the fluffy brush to just make sure that it's not too intense. I'm not the best person when it comes to makeup, but I know what works for my face, and I think that's really important, to know what looks good on you and what doesn't. So this is just, it looks very, very bright on the camera, but it's much more muted in person. And then I'll just go in with a little bit of Sinister, which is this colour here, this brown, just to tone it down a tad. Go. Lovely. The last thing I do is I just put a tiny bit under the eyes, just so it matches nicely. And then all that's left to do is a little bit of liquid eyeliner and some eyelashes. And there you have it. That's my little look. So that's my everyday look that I like to go out in. I do have quite large lashes on. I got them from Poundland, and if anyone is watching this that knows me well, knows me that I absolutely adore Poundland. It's one of my favourite stores. So yeah, this was actually my first YouTube video I've ever made, so I'm very excited about it. There's a lot of things that I need to change, like getting a nice high quality camera, decent quality sound, perhaps get myself a nice little backdrop. But yeah, this has actually been a really fun experience. I have started this venture really because unfortunately my health has declined a little bit, and now I'm not able to perform as much as I would like to. And I wanted to find a creative outlet that I could use that didn't involve me having to run around like a crazy person when I'm having a bad day. So yeah, let's see where this journey takes us. Thank you for watching if you got through the whole thing. Leave me some comments, maybe subscribe if you fancy it, or give it a little like. Yeah, and comment below just how you think it went, any tips or pointers that I could use. Probably makeup related or just YouTube videos in general. Yeah, and I guess I will see you guys later. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to my magical moomins. I hope you're enjoying yourselves, having a lovely day, and you've liked this video. Subscribe, comment and like below. Stay magical.